There are certain emotional triggers that make women obsess over a man. Triggers that don't come from flashy gestures or over-the-top displays of affection. No, these triggers are deeper. They're rooted in the psychology of attraction, in the subtle ways a man can influence a woman's emotions without even trying. When a man knows how to trigger these emotions, he doesn't have to chase. The obsession follows him. Today, we're going to break down the top 3 emotional triggers that make women obsess, and how you can harness them without ever seeming desperate. Let's dive in. The first emotional trigger that makes women obsessed is the power of absence. Most men make the mistake of being too available, too eager for attention. They constantly chase, send texts, show up at the right moments, trying to fill every void in the woman's life. But here's the secret. Absence is power. A Stoic man understands that the more present you are, the less valuable your presence becomes. He doesn't need to chase or always be there. Instead, he gives space. He steps back when things get too close, allowing her to miss him, think about him, and crave his presence. When you pull away, not out of anger or frustration, but out of respect for your own life, your own time, and your own boundaries, you create an emotional void she'll want to fill. And that is when obsession begins. The second emotional trigger that makes women obsessed is emotional control. In the chaos of relationships, it's easy to get caught up in emotional highs and lows. Many men react impulsively, letting their feelings control their actions, whether it's jealousy, frustration, or even excitement. But a Stoic man, he doesn't react. He doesn't let his emotions govern his behavior. Instead, he keeps his emotions in check, which creates an aura of strength and stability around him. When she sees that you remain calm, composed, and steady no matter what life throws at you, she starts to wonder how you do it. She becomes captivated by your ability to stay grounded, to not be swayed by emotional outbursts or the drama around you. This sense of control is alluring. It's something most men can't offer, and it draws her closer to you, making her obsessed with figuring you out. If you're getting something real from this, subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss what's next. The third emotional trigger that makes women obsessed is the art of mystery. Women are naturally drawn to what they can't figure out. When everything is laid out in front of them, the intrigue fades. The thrill of discovery disappears. A Stoic man understands the power of mystery. He doesn't share every detail about his life, his thoughts, or his feelings. He keeps certain things to himself, leaving her with questions that she can't help but want answered. This sense of mystery isn't about being dishonest. It's about withholding just enough so that she's always intrigued. When she feels like she's constantly peeling back layers, trying to uncover who you really are, she becomes obsessed with learning more. Mystery makes you unforgettable. It keeps her thinking about you long after you've left her presence. When you master these emotional triggers, absence, emotional control, and mystery, you're no longer just a man she's attracted to. You become someone she can't stop thinking about, someone whose presence she craves, whose calmness she admires, and whose layers she can't wait to explore. But there's more to this than just triggering emotions. It's about what you do. Once you've sparked this obsession, you don't run after her. You don't chase the affection or the validation. Instead, you let her come to you. You give her the space to miss you, the chance to feel that longing without constantly fulfilling it. In doing so, you create a dynamic of respect and desire, where she's not just attached to you physically, but emotionally, on a much deeper level. Once you understand these triggers, you realize that attraction isn't about trying to make someone like you. It's about creating the right conditions for attraction to grow naturally. A Stoic man doesn't force affection or chase after someone's heart. He knows that when he controls his own emotions, embraces absence, and keeps an air of mystery, he becomes someone women not only desire, but obsess over. He doesn't have to perform, impress, or compete with other men. He simply exists in a way that makes women want to be around him. His self-sufficiency and calm create an irresistible pull, one that is deeper than looks, words, or actions. Attraction isn't a game to him. It's a natural, almost effortless process of becoming the type of man that commands attention by just being himself. When you master the art of these triggers, you'll notice that women begin to view you differently. You stop being just another man in the crowd and become a rare, valuable presence. But this shift isn't immediate. It takes time for her to realize what makes you different. It takes time for her to fully comprehend how your absence, your control, and your mystery have made her begin to obsess over you. The key is consistency. When you maintain your stoic presence, your emotional control, and your ability to remain elusive, she can't help but be drawn to you. You don't need to prove anything. The longer you maintain this subtle but powerful influence, the more she will find herself caught up in her thoughts about you, unable to stop thinking about what she's missing. What makes this dynamic even more powerful is that, as a stoic man, you're not just creating intrigue for the sake of attention. You're doing it for your own peace and integrity. You're not worried about chasing her or winning her approval. You don't need to prove your worth because you already know your value. You are unaffected by her reactions, whether positive or negative. This emotional independence is one of the most magnetic qualities a man can possess. As she begins to obsess over you, she realizes that the more she tries to understand you, the more elusive you become. And that's when the real attraction happens. She stops focusing on the superficial and starts focusing on what lies beneath the surface. As the attraction grows, so does the emotional tension. The more she tries to analyze you, the more confused she becomes. This confusion, this uncertainty, is exactly what keeps her coming back for more. You're not just a man she desires. You're a challenge, a puzzle that she can't solve easily. She's captivated by the emotional complexity you present without ever revealing too much. And in this process, she becomes obsessed. Not because you're playing games, but because your emotional depth and control are unlike anything she's experienced. Every time she tries to figure you out, you move just out of reach. That makes her desire you even more. The key to keeping this obsession alive is consistency. A stoic man doesn't waver. He doesn't change who he is based on her actions or reactions. He remains true to himself, steady, calm, and focused. This consistency builds trust and admiration. It shows her that he is someone who can be relied upon, someone who won't falter under pressure, and someone whose presence is both valuable and rare. The more consistent you are, the more she will be drawn to you. The more she will feel that what she has with you is something worth holding on to. Your steady, unwavering nature is the anchor she didn't know she needed. And the more you maintain this stoic presence, the deeper she will fall into her own obsession with you. As the obsession deepens, it's important to understand that you're not manipulating her emotions. You're simply embodying a quality that's rare and deeply attractive. Women don't want a man who is predictable, always within reach, always reacting. They want a man who knows his own worth, a man who is unshaken by external pressures, and a man who is difficult to forget. By embracing emotional control, absence, and mystery, you create an atmosphere where she is constantly thinking about you. Not because you're forcing it, but because your energy is something that stands out in a sea of noise. She's not just drawn to you, she's captivated by your ability to exist in a world full of distractions without losing your sense of self. With this dynamic in place, the attraction reaches a point where she starts questioning herself. She begins to wonder, what is it about him that makes me feel this way? And that curiosity only fuels her obsession further. As she reflects on the mystery you present, she realizes that it's not just your actions that attract her. It's the quiet power you wield, the calm authority you project without needing to say a word. Your absence, your emotional control, your ability to remain mysterious. These are the forces that keep her thinking about you long after you've left the room. And as the days pass, the longing only intensifies. She finds herself pulling away from distractions, seeking moments where she can reconnect with the energy you created. You've become the puzzle she's determined to solve. At this point, the obsession begins to take root. She may not even fully realize it, but her thoughts about you become a constant presence in her mind. The more she tries to analyze you, the more elusive you become. And the more she struggles to understand, the deeper she falls into the emotional pull you've created. By maintaining your stoic presence and withholding just enough, you've made her feel both wanted and unsure. She can't shake the feeling that there's something deeper to you, something that remains out of her grasp, and that's exactly what keeps her coming back for more. This isn't about playing games. It's about creating a dynamic where your absence makes her crave your presence, your calm makes her long for your attention, and your mystery keeps her searching for answers. As the obsession grows, so does the respect she has for you. What started as an emotional reaction to your absence and control transforms into a deep admiration for the man you are. She begins to see that your ability to remain grounded, emotionally steady, and always in control isn't a weakness, it's your strength. She realizes that no one else can offer the same level of stability, mystery, and quiet power that you do. The more she experiences your presence and absence, the more she understands how rare it is to find a man who isn't swayed by emotions, drama, or the need for external validation. And that admiration, mixed with obsession, creates an almost irresistible attraction. At the end of this dynamic, she doesn't just desire you, she becomes completely captivated by who you are. The power you've built is not in your words, your actions, or your attempts to win her over. It's in your ability to remain true to yourself, no matter the circumstances. When a woman becomes obsessed with you, it's not because you forced her to. It's because your energy, your emotional control, your ability to pull away when necessary, and your unshakable confidence create something deeper than just attraction. You've become the man who stands apart, the one she can't stop thinking about. And no matter how hard she tries, she knows that your presence and absence will forever linger in her mind. That is the power of Stoic attraction, the ability to evoke obsession without trying, simply by being who you are.